everybody, welcome back live at Drew's house, Joppa Afternoon Drive. Hope you're all doing well out there. I hope you the weather's about to get very nice here as we go into the weekend and everything after a rough start to the week with the nor'easter and all that. And now you look at the calendar and like Halloween is right upon us, and there's a lot going on in the city of Newburyport. And here to talk about that and whatever else we address today, first time on the show for the president of the Greater Newburyport Chamber of Commerce, Nancy Caswell, in the house. How are you, Nancy?
Good, Drew. Thanks for having me.
First time on. This is a special.
I know. I'm excited to be here with you today.
Very good. You want to just start there with it's that time of year, right? We're getting spooky and there's Halloween stuff, and we got Friday night fun in the city. What's up?
I know. Witches' Night Out is this Friday, and it's such a hell of a good time. It really is. All of our shops stay open in town for like after hours. They offer a combination of snacks and maybe some potions, and the goal is to just support local, eat local, shop local, and everybody gets engaged, whether it's the shop owners that are dressed up as witches and restaurant operators that do the same with their service team. We've seen a huge increase over the years, attracting so many people to our community from outside about 15-20 mile radius to also come in. And so it's really just created, it's an event that we established a couple years back, and it's certainly just taken on.
Yeah, I bet it's the it could have been probably anything Halloween, but witches is a very specific topic. Was that your idea, or who?
It wasn't actually. It's a previous president's idea, and the focus was that so many people were going to Salem, and there's so many people, as I'm sure you know, that frequent Salem just to travel to the area around the whole history of witches. And we thought, okay, we're not too far away from Salem, so how can we benefit from what they've got going on from a tourism standpoint and attract people to shop with us if they happen to be doing both, in one trip.
There you go. Yes, I'm a North Shore boy that was from Danvers, and I live in Danvers now, which actually people don't know. It was old Salem Village and Danvers were one, but the old Salem Village in Danvers is actually where a lot of that stuff happens.
Really?
So, yeah, people go to Salem because it's kind of the touristy part of it. But yes, I used to live right near where a lot of those historical events happen. So
wow.
Yes, it is a busy time of year in Salem, but that's cool that you guys have jumped onto it in that way, and obviously very popular.
Super popular, and the train supports us really well too, because you can easily take the T up if you wanted to do that. We do get reports from our local inns and hotels in Amesbury that they actually do fill up quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
Actually just had a call today at the chamber office on what else is available at this point. So
wow, it's people making weekends out of it.
Yes, for sure. And it's a combination of females, males, but sometimes we even see families in the last few years that have come together, as a whole kind of themed family, right?
Is it kid friendly? I bet that's something you get asked all the time.
It's not so much kid friendly because a lot of the events definitely are happening between 6:30 or 7, but then we have the ability to do more of that kind of toddler, young child with downtown Christmas trick or treat. I just said downtown.
Downtown Christmas. You're jumping ahead.
I've been saying that for so long. Yeah, do you want to cut that?
That's the week after, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we'll keep rolling. That's always funny when people. I've heard other people discuss Halloween and say Christmas by accident. It's funny.
I literally wrote it in my calendar.
I don't know. I think people are shopping already for Christmas, maybe, and it's like they're getting they're jumping ahead. That's like the Amazon world or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, cool. So that's coming up. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Just on the witches thing too. So the T is the commuter rail is a great idea because it's if you're talking, you mentioned potions, like people want to have a few potions, then you don't want to be driving.
For
so
sure.
That's a good benefit to have the train right in here too. Huh?
Yeah, and we've tried to establish so many different ways in which people can access the city and get around it safely. So we've done trolleys in the past to get people between the Tannery to State Street and N Street, and just to keep people safely walking. State Street still remains open for that. A couple of people have called the chamber office asking us, does State Street close? It does not. State Street, the traffic pattern itself still continues, but people are walking through the the sidewalks and
more
such.
Broomsticks.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Whereas the kids downtown trick or treat on the following Friday, that the mayor actually supports and actually helps us close down State Street. So there's definitely a little bit more safety there in being able to just cross between and visit all the shops and get candy.
Okay, so this Friday, it's the week after, that is for the kids,
The
right?
24th.
Okay, cool. And that's different from like the town of Newbury or the city of Newburyport trick-or-treating that you go door to door. This is like the downtown Newburyport trick-or-treating,
Yeah,
right?
this is when our businesses give back to our residents.
There you
know,
go,
it's
yeah.
kind of a goodwill, and we see. I mean, honestly, I think it's almost over 1,200 kids.
Wow.
We, as business owners, see a lot of our members, getting together candy. Some of them go full bars too, believe it or not, Drew.
Yeah.
And so we open up our doors, and even some of the office spaces that are on the second and third floor of the downtown buildings participate as well.
Oh, wow.
And so you see it's a great give back.
Those
between
business owners are great down there.
Yeah.
I've had some connection with them for other things, and just they're very generous, and they appreciate, I think, all the support they get from the city leaders and the community, and then they do a good job of giving back. So I've always had good experiences with them. So that'll be fun for State Street. As far as the how late do you think you stay open? Because you said past normal hours, right, for the witches thing Friday?
So yes, some of the business owners will stay open as long as 9 p.m.
Oh, okay.
And then restaurants and such will maintain their regular hours, which can be from 9 or 10 to the kitchen until 1
Gotcha.
o'clock last call.
All right, so we won't go to like sunrise the next morning.
No, we're not throwing that kind of party.
It's not that kind of party. Very good. Actually, it is an interesting question though, because and you're connected to this in your own little way. Like a lot of the cities around here that are great. We have a lot of musicians on here that are always raving about like playing Portsmouth and all this stuff. They have such a great nightlife scene and everything. And you do get that complaint sometimes of Newburyport that there's not as much going on later in the evening. Is that a Newburyport problem, you think, or not so much? What do you think?
Well, I think so, and I think that's what my interest is in just stepping in as the president of the chamber, is to get a much better understanding of what truly the city needs and what it is, what can support it. I, as a small business owner for about 20 years now in Newburyport, with owning a restaurant, I think there's so many different facets to the community that a lot of people who have even moved here and aren't even aware of, right? Whether it's the theater, whether it's having live music down at the firehouse, or comedy between the firehouse and the grog. All of that activity definitely draws a little bit more attention and foot traffic, and helps us at the chamber be a better visitors bureau and establishing tourism that does support small business. And so events like this, when we really try to measure, how many people can we support in a very safe way, is helpful. So between doing the car show that drives more foot traffic, into the evening, the witches' night out, the holiday strolls that we'll do the first couple Fridays, all of that gives us a good understanding of like, do we want more of this, or is this all we can sustain and be successful at?
The Literary Fest was a full weekend here, right?
Full, yeah, and the book festival,
Documentary film festival.
and all those things that we're continue to get behind as a community and grow awareness with, certainly gives us a better understanding to determine and answer the question that you've asked, which is, could we do more, right? And the other big part is the accessibility to having a place to stay,
Yes.
right? Because when anybody indulges or enjoys themselves, the next big piece is, how do I get home, or where do I go from here, right?
Yeah, that's always something to think about. Yeah, and I mean, I know parking is another thing too. There's a million things that go into it. I know it's not a simple question, and space sometimes you are limited. But Newburyport is you guys must be so proud of it. It's like people will come from wherever to visit. Just to walk down State Street. I mean, if you look at Newburyport in the wintertime, all times of year it's great. People say it's kind of like a postcard when you see it in the wintertime. It's just gorgeous. It's an old-fashioned city sort of thing. And you must be so proud of how many people do want to come to Newburyport and just come to spend their time.
It's not hard by any means to support Newburyport and its tourism. I mean, even for this particular event on Friday with Witches Night Out, I'm always blown away when I'm at the chamber and I get a phone call from somebody like just last week who said they were coming from Chicago for it.
Really? Wow.
And they just have, they had a family member that previously lived in Newburyport, and it's always drawn them back. And to so many, we don't really realize that sometimes these particular events are what actually draws people to Newburyport. When we're fortunate to either work or live where, you know, in a place like Newburyport, we often take it for granted and like, really? That's what draws you? You know, right?
You never know. So
you never know.
The quirkiest things can get people sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And not that Halloween is quirky, although there is an element to Halloween that is funny. The people that, I mean, some people just absolutely love it and
I
go
know.
all in on, I'm sure you see it with the witches, right?
Oh my goodness. And I'm always shocked too, because like I said, sometimes, you know, partners and males will participate and all of a sudden you've got a bunch of Frankensteins, like, you know, walking up the road and you're like, oh, okay, everybody's in on this. Yeah, for sure.
It is fun. It's a fun holiday. The as far as when the kids trick-or-treating comes to the businesses, then the 24th, you said, is there something we should know about that as far as planning? What's the big...
Yeah, for sure, downtown gets definitely congested around 4 o'clock, and we run that from about 4 to 5:30. You know, with State Street now being closed, it's you know, it's just a quick redirect. However, you know, that's the time when a lot of downtown businesses or people are just trying to navigate getting home after work, right?
Yeah.
But we always encourage kids and adults to get dressed for trick or treat, and we are also talking about through our downtown business advisory committee through the chamber, you know, how can we celebrate some of the costumes that are coming through both for Witches Night Out and Kids Trick or Treat? You know,
like prizes and stuff?
Yeah, is there a way that the retailers, you know, in shops can be like, you know, did you see this witch come through, or did you see this young child walk through, and maybe give away some gift cards to the downtown shops?
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea. Pretty much it's cool for all the businesses too, because they must feel like there's a camaraderie between business owners too, right? And they must all feel like this is kind of their show. It's their night to shine a little bit as well, right?
Yeah, and I think anytime there's an opportunity to advertise the community and what we're offering and draw people in, then that's kind of our ability to like sell Newburyport versus like selling ourselves individually and what we offer. And sometimes it's going to be successful for individuals, right? And sometimes it's just about creating awareness for what Newburyport offers, right? Who's to say that somebody could come on Friday and then buy a diamond ring and get engaged from MK Bonatti downtown, right?
Wow, okay.
You know, you never know. But maybe if it doesn't happen that evening, the truth is maybe they see that shop and identify it later on when they're making that decision, and they're like, oh, you know, I saw this incredible, beautiful jewelry store. So when we create events like this, which is I think the importance of the chamber and coming together under one umbrella, the bigger picture is marketing Newburyport and what it has to offer and the accessibility of it, and less about my little shop or my little restaurant.
Yeah, you did talk about jewelry, but I mean that's going to be true too. I mean, a lot of people it's obviously a busy dinner night anyway on Friday, but I imagine all the restaurants are packed because people want to get a bite before they go off and do whatever and stuff. So that's always a good thing too, right? Packed restaurants.
And for sure, butts and seats, right? Yeah. Heads and beds and butts and seats. But for sure, yeah. I think, and always when you're doing the same, especially in the restaurant world, you know, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I totally forgot. It's Witches Night. That's why there's a bunch of women walking around with witches hats and all the things, right?
It's fun, though.
It's fun, and it changes the dynamic of the evening, which, you know, gets the staff excited as well. That's
great. Nancy Caswell joining us, president of the Greater Newburyport Chamber of Commerce here. Nice enough to join us really before a lot of these Halloween festivities kick off here. It is going to be a Friday night of fun here in Newburyport. If you see all the witches and Frankensteins, I think you said, that's those are the two popular ones here. It's not, you're not going crazy. It is that time of year already. It does come up fast, I feel like. I don't know why. I feel like maybe it was because we had 80-degree temperatures really late into the late summer, early fall, but it feels like this, it's sneaking up on me. Let's put it that way.
Oh, for sure. After Columbus Day, it feels like a trickle, like all the things. Holidays all start to fall into place, and the end of the year is a quick wrap.
Although my grandfather used to tell me life goes fast, so you got to just slow it down in general, I think. Maybe that's the rule. Your restaurant, you mentioned you're a restaurant owner around here.
Yeah,
what
I
is
do.
That like
I own Brine, which has been in business since 2012, and I've been a chamber member for almost 20 years, and I've just always been a fan of supporting the community and participating in a grander way, and I'm excited for this new role and how it supports our downtown commerce.
How many? How long on the job here as president?
I'm about 6 months in, or getting into 6 months. Yeah.
Is it all you expected?
For sure, because I knew all the business owners for the most part already. So
and that must be a huge benefit, right?
It is.
Actually be in it.
I think so, because I think we historically go back and understand each other's patterns of business and volume and what our needs all are. And, you know, being being a business owner in town, I'm in town, so I get to frequently see and connect with all the people that are our members that we're representing.
What's the everybody I've ever talked to who's ever owned a restaurant has said it's a passion project. I love it, but nobody ever says it's easy.
Oh, yes, it's not easy. So actually, I had 3 restaurants at one point. I used to have 2 on State Street and 1 in Boston. And so with the sale of the other 2 and leaving me with just Brian, that's when I was able to really pivot. But yeah, when you own multiple restaurants or even one restaurant, boundaries are hard. But at the end of the day, it's a passion project, and it's the engagement really, and that immediate gratification is something it's hard to even put into words.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good ones in Newburyport, including yours. I've been to yours, but it is kind of like a fun place to gather. Like I'm from Danvers, as I mentioned, and we never used to come to Newburyport. It's crazy. Like we would go to Salem a lot, which by the time you go through the winding roads, like 3 miles, but it takes just as long to get to Newburyport.
Right.
You know, like I kind of wish we never thought that way when we were younger, but we should have like come out to eat here more and stuff. You know?
I know.
I do. I'm here all the time now as an adult, but like, you know, those college years and stuff, or like I wish we drove, you know, in a hometown Danvers. I wish we came up to Newburyport more.
And I do think that there's a lot of people who have really shifted to that exact mentality. They're like, oh, it's right off of the exit, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to like getting off in Peabody or Danvers to get to Salem and having to do that road on 114.
Yeah.
And there is that convenience. And now for us in a chamber position, it's really about stopping people before they hit the state line, right?
Yeah.
I see it as how do we transition what's been happening in Portsmouth, and having people stop here before they get to Portsmouth, and trying to have fun evenings where they're safe in all things, but they're inclusive and people feel good and it's worthwhile.
Yeah, it's funny because it's not it's such a happening spot. Like if you walk through, you could walk right now through downtown Newburyport. It would be busy and bustling, and there's a lot going on. It just struck me as because I mentioned that earlier only because like we'll do a lot of music shows, whether it be at the Firehouse or wherever, and sometimes you do walk out of there and you're like, oh, I wish it was kind of happening a little bit more here. It doesn't seem like there's much after going on, especially for those people that work, because you know there's that whole talk throughout the whole world right now. It's not a 9 to 5 world anymore. You know, people do work different hours, and it's different. Even Boston hasn't really adjusted. New York City, the places are open till 4 a.m. Boston, hasn't changed in years.
I know. Boston has the luxury of having this new nighttime czar, who I had the pleasure of meeting a couple months back, and it's great that the city's getting around this idea of like fostering somebody to really put their finger on the pulse and understand what we can do differently. And I think, you know, for us in the suburbs especially, and as you say, people's, you know, work life has changed. I think there's a lot of opportunity to focus also on you know, post-work cocktail mixer opportunities, because I think once people are home, especially with kids and stuff, they're settled in. To get them back out might feel like, you know, overcoming like, well, I have to work 12 or what's the point? But, you know, the opportunity to engage in post-work cocktail hours or just getting around a social mixer to network and engage between 4 to 5:30 makes sense, because people can see that as a continuation of work.
Yeah, like
with a little bit of a good time and then settling in.
Well, that sounds like a project you've thought about.
Yeah. Well,
really
because
thought about.
I think about it for myself too, right?
Yeah.
And then the same with the weekends. Like I think that a lot of people have to be reminded of all the things we have happening, and I think that we as a chamber can do a better job of marketing all the events under, again, an umbrella, as opposed to what each individual source is doing. Like, who's playing at the Firehouse, instead of like, oh, it's this going on, options, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot to do if one thing doesn't like get you super pumped.
Yep. Well said. It's funny, the Boston thing is funny. Sidebar. Mayor Menino, may he rest in peace. When I was a young writer in the WBZ newsroom, I was working at like 3 a.m. for the 5 a.m. news, and he would come in like once a week. I think we had him, maybe every other week. And one day he knew I was the young guy in there, so he walks in one day and he was like fighting about like gyms and stuff, like about staying open later. Like people wanted the gym to be open later because they don't work 9 to 5 and that sort of thing. Same thing for bars and all that stuff. But he was really getting pushed on this, and he goes, "Drew, hey, what time you go to bed at night?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not up too late. I'm up at 3 a.m. And he goes, "That's what I'm saying. Nothing good happens after midnight, and I'll stand by it. And he goes, nothing's ever opening later on my watch," and it never did.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it still has. But you're right. You are right. They're definitely making strides in Boston, but in that regard. But Obviously, a different city.
A different city, for sure. If we could have 1/8 of that kind of energy. But again, I think we have received, a significant amount of household members that have shifted to come north or to go to the suburbs that came out of the city post, all the things. And so the reality is, again, identifying what makes sense and what is sustainable and provide data for our business owners to be like, I can get behind that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's all about who lives here too, right? Because I do think, has Newburyport gotten a little bit older just because of living situations?
It's an aging demographic for sure, but there's the generational opportunity, and there's a lot of new young household members that have moved in. And since basically 2022, I get to meet quite a few of them that that come through the doors of the restaurants, and they're looking for ways to engage. But what I find a lot of are people who are living in Newburyport that have found this as like the middle place. Like I met a couple just the other day at a young professionals networking event that we established, and I approached them to just ask if they were young business owners here in the community here in Newburyport, and they were like, no, we're actually business entrepreneurs outside of the city, but we live in Newburyport. One works in Portland, Maine, and then the other one is in Cambridge, Mass. And they found this to be the landing spot that made the most amount of sense. But they're still young professionals, and they're like, we just want to network with our neighbors now, right? And it's not even about giving services to them within their workplace. It was just like, how are you juggling life being a young business entrepreneur the way we are, right?
Wow,
and you're on our streets. So
it's interesting to think of the job of the chamber in that way too, because I bet a lot of people don't even think about that. Like, you are watching age demographics, you're watching young people, you're trying to see all that stuff and just trying to monitor where the city's going in that regard. That's good. What is the hardest part of the job?
Honestly, the hardest part is truly understanding what every member can offer, because I kind of feel like I am the walking A-frame sandwich board for all of our members. Like I want to be up to speed, and I want our team to be as well, to be able to speak to a service or an opportunity that lends itself to one of our members.
Sure. And
so I'm trying to be very engaged in understanding, like, oh, if you're looking for this is going on, or that's going on, and being an initiator in that way. I've always felt that was my strong suit as a business owner, just being in the restaurant, being on the dining room floor, and you always meet the coolest people, and you're like, wow, that's awesome. Like, did you know that person from like that side of the room? And so it kind of feels like that is the most challenging part. And we're very good about the reality that we're a greater Newburyport. And so, we really take in different neighborhoods. We're Newbury, West Newbury, Groveland, Georgetown, Topsfield. So being a business owner and a resident here in Newburyport is great for me, because I know this area very well. But now I'm on this new journey of learning about all these other businesses in the surrounding area.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes you do just think here, but yeah, you're right. You expand. That's cool. Nancy Caswell joining us here, president of the Greater Newburyport Chamber of Commerce. Final minute or two with her. We fly by here, Nancy. It goes by very quickly.
Thanks for having me.
Friday night, one thing, what's your final pitch to the people that want to come out and enjoy?
Come out and have a great time, and
be a witch for a night.
Be a witch for a night, and if costume isn't your thing, that's okay. You can just be somebody who comes in and takes it all in and observes, and that's cool too.
If you've never done it before, what you want to get in early? Like what?
Yeah, I say get in situated by 5:30, 6 o'clock. Okay. Definitely would recommend making a reservation in one of the restaurants ahead of time if you haven't yet, or walk up to a restaurant, put your name on the wait list, and then walk around. And that's definitely the best way to handle getting in and out and enjoying a dinner option as well.
Probably patience is preferred on that night. It is a busy night for Newburyport. And the week after with the kids, anything the kids need to know, or just be yourselves?
That's a 4 o'clock. Be yourself. The State Street will be closed, so parents can feel good about the fact that we only started doing that last year. So I think parents are really excited about the safety precautions we've taken into place with that.
Awesome. Nancy Caswell. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Thanks. Happy Halloween.
There we go. First time on the show, too. It was a pleasure meeting you. This was fun.
Thanks.
We'll do it again, and we'll monitor all these events you're doing. It seems like you guys are making some great changes and keeping all the good stuff and all that stuff.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing.
Nancy Caswell, president of the Greater Newburyport Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Nancy. Happy Halloween to our crew, too. Sarah Hayden, the boss, Maeve Power, producing the show. She does all the work here. Ryan Rothberg, our small but mighty team here in Newburyport. We love you. Thank you all very much. And we'll see you later here. All right. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Peace.